You think of the greatest NHL goal scorers of all time, people immediately think of names like Wayne Gretzky, Alex Ovechkin, Gordie Howe, and Maurice the Rocket Richard. The 1945 season solidified the Rocket's status as a legend forever, as he did something no one else thought was possible: 50 goals in 50 games. It had never been done before, but Richard was a record breaker, and this was his best work. To truly understand how impressive this feat was, we need to take a look at the state of the league in the mid 40s. The league was only built from 6 teams, an era we now call the Original Six era. This meant that the Canadiens played these same 6 teams all year. They knew each other and their playstyles like the back of their own hand. The season was exactly 50 games long, so scoring 50 goals in a single season seemed like an impossible feat. This was also a time when hockey was much more dangerous than today. Rules were looser, sticks weighed upwards of 4 pounds, and no one wore helmets. Teams weren't scared to go out of their way to injure their opposition, and Richard was no exception. He was a constant target for his opponents, and he was never safe. However, overall scoring was up in the 1945 season, which was music to the ears of Rocket Richard. Teams were combining for an average of 7.4 goals per game, but scoring was a lot more spread out between the roster back then. You were considered elite if you potted 25 in a season, and most players didn't even get close to 20. In fact, only 8 players were able to hit the 25 goal mark during the 45 season. And that's what makes Richard's 1550 so wild. He wasn't just leading the league, he was completely dominating. Richard was already known as a force to be reckoned with heading into the 45 season, but no one could have expected what he was about to do. He started the season off in an unbelievable way. On December 28, 1944, the Canadiens played against the Detroit Red Wings. Richard put up a historic game with 5 goals and 3 assists for 8 total points, breaking the then record for most points in a single game. Just that performance alone would make this a season to remember, but he wasn't done yet. He kept scoring at a goal per game pace with no signs of slowing down. Richard wasn't just having a good season, he was making history. And on February 25th, 1945, he would break a 27-year-old record held by the legendary Joe Phantom Malone. He would score his 45th goal of the season to break the record for the most goals in a single season. He would do it with Malone in attendance and against the Canadiens' rivals, the Toronto Maple Leafs. He had already made history. He already had a scoring record, but he wasn't done. He scored his 45th goal in the 42nd game of the season. He had 8 games to score 5 goals and do the unthinkable. And by the 49th game of the season, he had exactly 49 goals. He had one more chance to put the puck in the back of the net. On March 18, 1945, the Montreal Canadiens were playing in their 50th and last game of the season against their biggest rivals in the Boston Bruins. It couldn't have been more perfect. One game to make history against one of the biggest rivals in all of sports. The legendary Montreal Forum was packed with fans ready to watch Richard do the undoable. With time running out in the third period and the entire season, Elmer Locke laid a nice pass onto the tape of Maurice the Rocket Richard, who made no mistake and buried the puck in the back of the net. He had done it, 50 goals in 50 games. He was the first, and for a very long time, the only to do it. This feat was so impressive that it took 36 years for someone to do it again. It would take until Mike Bossy to do it in 1981 for it to be matched. To this day, only 5 players have ever scored 50 and 50. Those being, of course, Richard, as well as Mike Bossy, Wayne Gretzky, who did it 3 times, Mario Lemieux, and Brett Hull. But the Rocket was the first. When the league only had 6 teams and the season was exactly 50 games. In this era, there was no room for cold streaks or bad games. Now, the term 50-50 is a benchmark for greatness for NHL goal scorers. And it all started with Maurice the Rocket Richard.